What is up, guys? Stark here. In today's character spotlight, I'm taking a look at Queen Medb. I think I said that right, hopefully. Anyway, so I'm just gonna jump right into it here. I'm not a huge fan of this character. I don't really like her artwork or her character design, but you know, she's a character I haven't done yet, so my goal is to do them all, and today is her turn, so we're just gonna jump right into it and get started. So she is a writer and a 5-star, so she will go up to level 90, and she will have 10,296 attack and 13,958 HP. So overall she will rank 14th in HP and 27th overall in attack. So she's got average stats. You know, it's nothing too special, but they're not really as good as it might seem based on the rank. She doesn't do that much damage. She's only really useful for like a few specific things, but you know, I mean she's not I mean, maybe she might be, but she's not really that bad of a servant. It's just she's a 5-star, and there's just so many better servants than her. You're not really gonna find too much of a use for her outside of like a very specific thing. If you do decide to max her out though, she will end up with 13,270 attack and 17,303 HP. So moving on here to her servant skills, she does have a very good set of skills, and honestly it is a very nice kit if you ask me. Anyway, the first skill is the Golden Rule Body A. This is a self buff that will apply debuff immunity for 3 turns. It will heal her every turn for 3 turns, and it will also increase her Noble Phantasm gauge every turn for 3 turns. So this is a very good skill, and you start with this skill. It starts from, you know, as soon as you pull this character, you don't have to ascend her 3 times in order to get it. It's going to be there by default, and it's probably her best skill. So you're going to heal 500 HP at level 1, and then that goes up to 1000 HP at level 10. So essentially you're going to heal 3000 HP with this skill, and you're also going to increase your Noble Phantasm gauge by 30% with this skill. So, you know, that's pretty good. That's pretty respectable. You know, it helps the Noble Phantasm generation come faster, and it increases her survivability that much more because she can heal herself as well as do other things, and she's immune to debuffs during this time, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Her second skill is going to be the Charisma B. This will increase the attack of all allies for 3 turns, starting at 9% at level 1 and goes up to 18% at level 10. So it's not the best buff, but you know, anytime you have a attack charisma skill, it is always going to be very nice. There is an interlude quest you can do to power this up, and this will add a few extra buffs to it. So this will, as well as increasing the attack, it will also increase the attack of male allies for 3 turns, and then it will also restore your own HP. So this definitely makes the skill just significantly better, and it also buffs the attack increases starting at 10% at level 1 and going up to 20% at level 10. It's not a huge increase, but it's still an increase. And then if they are male servants, they also get an additional 10% increase at level 1, 20% increase at level 10. So if you're using her with a bunch of males, it's very nice, and then she will heal herself as well. So that's an additional 1000 at level 1, and then it goes up to 2000 at level 10. So you can combo that with her first skill with the third skill, and she's going to be healing quite a lot, and she's going to be doing some nice attack buffs. So overall, like, her first 2 skills are very fantastic. You're going to be doing a lot with her if you do decide to use her. And then for her third and final skill, it's going to be the Siren Song C. This has a high chance to inflict charm on the opposite gender, being males, for 1 turn. So this will be a 50% chance at level 1 and an 80% chance at level 10. So if you're going against male enemies, she's very good to use. Outside of that, she's probably not the best, but she does have some very nice skills. So if you don't have any other good writers, you can definitely throw her on there. She's like, it's not like she's unusable. It's just, there's just so many characters that do what she can do better, and there's just better writers out there. Moving on here to our class skills, first up is the Magic Resistance B. This will increase debuff resistance by 17.5%. And the second one is Writing A, which will increase quick card effectiveness by 10%. Moving on to the Ascension and Skill Enhancement materials. For her Ascension, she's going to need the Serpent Jewels, Feathers, Horseshoes, and Horns. And then for the Skill Enhancement, she's going to need Feathers, Jewels, Lanterns, and Demon Hearts. So now moving on here to her command cards and her Noble Phantasm. She has 1 Quick, 2 Arts, and 2 Buster. And then for her Noble Phantasm, it's going to be a Buster card, and this will deal significant damage to a single enemy. And then on the overcharge, it will deal increased damage to males, and then it will also decrease mental debuff resistance for 3 turns on that enemy. So again, this is a very solid noble Phantasm that will just do significant more damage if it's going against a male servant. So as you guys can see here, the theme of this character is pretty much to just dominate the males or to buff the males on your team. So if you fulfill any of those conditions, she's definitely usable. If not, you're probably going to want to look for something else on your team. You can do a rank up quest to power this up, and this will just increase the amount of damage you can do a little bit, and you know, that's really all there is to it. It will also increase the decrease for the mental debuff resistance by 10%, but overall you're just going to be doing a little bit more damage. Honestly, it's not that much of an increase, but more damage is more damage, so if you can do it, you might as well just go ahead and do it. So now moving on here to some of the craft essences that you could use on this character. First up is her level 10 Bond craft essence, which is the Sacred Springs. While equipped, this will increase Noble Phantasm gain of all allies by 15% while on the field. So this is your generic Noble Phantasm gain craft essence. You're probably not going to want to use this one. Instead, you want to try and boost up her attack a little bit by using the Verdant Sound of Destruction for the 15% increase, or the Limit 0 Over for the 25% increase for the Buster cards. So now moving on to the character and review portion of this character spotlight. First up, for her stats, I'm going to give her 3.5 stars. While she is kind of ranked in the middle of the pack, maybe a little bit higher up on the HP scale, her stats are very misleading, as she doesn't really do that much damage overall, and she only really benefits from her Charisma B skill, and she doesn't even get the full benefits of it because she's obviously not a male. And that's really the only other thing that you can have that can buff up her damage, so she does lack a little bit there for the stats. But I am giving her 3.5, you know, she is pretty solid overall in the HP stat, so it's up there a little bit. As for her skills, I'm giving her a 4-star in skills. She does have a very good kit of skills, with the first skill being pretty fantastic in my opinion, being able to heal and increase your Noble Phantasm gain and be immune to debuffs in general. So that's a really nice skill, and that makes her survivability, you know, pretty good, combo with her second skill for the attack increase, and then a little bit of heal if you can, you know, do the interlude quest to power it up. As for her versatility, I'm giving her a 3-star in versatility. This is pretty much because she's only very useful against male servants. So if you're not going against a male servant, she is pretty much unusable, and you don't want to use her, so you'll take something else, because you basically lose her third skill. It's not going to be useful to you, and her Noble Phantasm gets slashed in half. So you're basically using half a character if you're using her against female servants. So that definitely makes her lacking in the versatility department. Moving on here to her aesthetics, as I've already said in the beginning of this video, I do not like this character design or the artwork at all, so I'm going to award it 3 stars. And then for the overall ranking, I'm going to give her 3.5 stars out of 5. She's a pretty solid servant against males, but she kind of lacks anything outside of that. She does have some nice skills, but it doesn't really it doesn't come together well enough where she can be used outside of her niche, and it's kind of unfortunate, but you know, it's nice to have these type of characters in case you need them, but they just kind of sit on the bench until they're called upon. Anyway guys, that's going to wrap up this character spotlight for you. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm going to leave you here with her Noble Phantasm, and I will see you guys tomorrow. 力が私の力、人を滑る王家、人を虐げる皇帝。